Text her.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you. We are live, and hi, it's Katie Harris. I'm CEO and owner of NursePreneurs, and I'm here with la la la. Oh, there she is.
Hi, I'm Jill Weberding. I'm CEO and founder of NursePreneur, and we've got our two wonderful judges back with us. Kimball, you want to introduce yourself again?
Yes, I am Kimball Bradley. I am the founder and CEO of Elite Concierge Nurses and Ivy Hydration Nation.
All right. I'm Charlene Diamond. I am the founder. Yes. I'm the founder and CEO of Integra Nurse, which is an integrative nursing concierge service.
All right. So yesterday we heard our 2-minute pitches from all our contestants, and today we're doing 5-minute pitches. So they're going to go more in depth of what it is that they're doing, and to explain more about, just drive that curiosity about their programs and to really capture our interest. So the way that this will work is we have 8 contestants. We're going to do blocks of 4. So we're going to do, and the judges are going to be keeping score as they go along. And of course, again, what we want to know is, yesterday we talked about, was the person believable, credible? Was their pitch up there with it? Did it grab your attention? So now they got to hold our attention longer. So those are the things that we want to know. We want to know, did they sustain your attention? Did you have questions afterwards? And then, is this something that you would follow through with in terms of a call to action? So if they say, download my book or give me a call, are you compelled to make that action or refer them to somebody who would potentially make that action? Because, for instance, they talked about breast cancer last night or yesterday. You might not have breast cancer, but you might know somebody that has breast cancer. Is this somebody you'd say, hey, you really need to talk to this nurse over here, and this is her call to action? So that's what we're judging on today. Now, only 3 contestants are going to move to the final round out of these 8. So we're going to do all 4 at once. Then we're going to talk about them. So the judges and Jill and I are going to be taking notes so that we remember, what we thought and what we said. And then we'll critique them as a group. Then we'll do the next 4, critique them as a group. And then we'll have like a little intermission, and we'll make
we'll choose our 3. Top 3
we'll
finalists.
choose our top 3 finalists. So I do want to apologize because my mouse seems to be possessed and it's doing all these wonky things, but I think I'm good. So let me share my screen.
And we will say that, just like we tell, just like everyone knows, you have to kind of earn your way to get 5 minutes. And so the idea was, when we set the frame, while I didn't help them create their pitches, we certainly worked on messaging and stuff throughout the course when we were working together. But they, again, this is a lot harder than it appears to be, to put a pitch together. And 5 minutes can feel like an incredibly long time to talk to someone and be able to be engaging and keep their attention. But we wanted to, I did frame it that it shouldn't be essentially the same exact pitch as we heard in the 2-minute, because it's essentially like that's enough to create interest. And then you would say, well, tell me more. So the expectation is that you wouldn't just regurgitate the same exact thing. We should be getting a better feel for what their program is, or their course, or, a little bit more context, right, Katie?
Right. And that's something that we're judging on as well. So if the first 2 minutes are the pitch over again, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's not what we want to hear.
Yeah. Because we just did it last night.
Yes. And hopefully we still remember what it is that they were talking about. So
exactly.
All right. So Pam Mooney is up first. So we're going to play her, and then I will announce the next one, and we'll keep moving forward like that.
Sounds good.
And let me know if there's any issues. It looks like everything is good audio-wise, though.
Great.
I want you to imagine this. How does the joy of having a baby become one of the most traumatized experiences in life? In a few short missteps, recognize the potential for birth trauma. before it happens and learn strategies to prevent and manage it. Empower your patients and protect your own mental health. As a labor and delivery nurse, learn about the most common causes of birth trauma, including over-medicalized deliveries, forced procedures due to fear of safety, and how the slippery slope of coercion is causing harm. Arm yourself with the knowledge and tools to avoid the miracle of birth from becoming a delivery disaster. I invite you today to join Birthquake and Beyond and gain the knowledge necessary to be that rock star nurse you already are and provide the care that patients are expecting. This 8-week course with one-on-one mentoring in a community-based group will cover extremely sensitive information, and you may also find yourself becoming overwhelmed. With that being said, you can just imagine how overwhelmed your patients must be. They don't have the specialized training that you do, and quite frankly, they may not even be suffering at this point. My mission has been to create an action-oriented learning platform to improve the birthing experiences for all mothers and nurses. And my goal is to help you identify, intervene, and help you and your patients receive the birthing experience you both deserve. I know we can't always predict the delivery outcomes, but we can help to lessen the burden that may be left behind afterwards. Learning how to become an even more thoughtful than you already are, and increasing your knowledge around birth trauma and the effects it can leave behind for years could turn into that special moment where no one has to experience trauma at all. No one sets out to provide harm, but unfortunately, it is not because of the many stories that has been shared with me. There is mental anguish and people that are very overwhelmed because of being underdiagnosed and being overlooked by our healthcare system. So sign up today for the limited spots in Birthquake and Beyond. And let's walk through this journey together. Let me teach you how to deal with some of the most stressful events that are taking place with you today. Help is around the corner, and all you have to do is decide to invest the time and money in your lifelong nursing career. Will you be the one that says yes? Are you a leader that likes to bring others through the fight? If you're that very person, I invite you to participate in this eight-week course of Birthquake and Beyond and lead the battle that only a chosen few have pledged to venture. I can't wait to see you inside the academy. I can't wait to see what becomes of your practice once you've completed the course. And I am so excited to be able to share this with you today. So please sign up for the course and let's go through this fight together. And thank you for your time.
Okay, so that was Pam Mooney. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I muted myself too.
I was going to say, you freaked me out. Okay. The next one we have
Marita.
Marita. So there's this Mexican city called Merida, and it's spelled with M-E, and then she's Marita, spelled M-A.
Marita.
So I'm like, I always have to think about it. Marita. All right, here we go.
Hi there, I'm Marita Etherington, the creator of the 8-week roadmap to becoming a mental wellness RN. Today, I wanted to spend a few minutes with you and walk you through a case study and how you can apply my course and everything that you will learn in it to working with a client one-on-one. This can also be applied to small group setting, but for today, we will look at a client. So this client is 30 years old, healthy, works in IT, and has had to put their wedding on hold or canceled because of COVID. They are having some trouble communicating with their partner, feeling isolated because they can't see family and friends as much as they normally do. So let's get started. Where do we begin? Well, we're going to start with an intake, getting to know our client. So you will use things like therapeutic communication and all the elements of that, taking a trauma-informed approach, which I will show you what that means and how to apply it. Also, motivational interviewing skills. We will go through that in the course. So you will take that, all those pieces, and get to know your client. You will establish a safe space. We'll talk about that. We'll look at using compassionate care during an assessment and during an intake. I will provide you with templates of how to use templates and intake assessments, and I will share with you what I use. So once you get to know your client and you gather some information, you will be able to start seeing, hey, what's going on? What are the stressors? Are they relationship issues? We'll look at that in the course. What do relationship issues look like? What's the problem in terms of communication with family or your husband or your boyfriend? We will go through that in the course. We will then be able to apply that when we're listening to our client. We will be able to teach. We'll be able to support. We'll be able to empower. Then we will look at boundaries. Are they having some boundary issues at work? Is there a power struggle with their superior? We will help them with that. We will listen. And with the tools I give you, you'll be able to identify the themes that are coming out. Are they exercising less? Are they eating more? That will be part of your intake. You'll be able to discover it. You'll be able to offer solutions. You will empower your client to be able to come up with solutions on their own with your support and your knowledge. I will use the nursing process to help you, to show you how these things fit in. Once the client and yourself have found some stressors, what then? Does the client want to set some goals? Is that where you will direct them? So we'll look at goal setting. In the 8 weeks together, you and I will go through goal setting. What does it mean? How do you do it? How do you evaluate that the goals are being met? Do you need to reevaluate and tweak those goals? What else? We can then move on to offering coping strategies, effective and healthy coping strategies, because you might have discovered that your client has unhealthy coping strategies. And I will show you what those look like. We will talk about those, like addictions, overeating, sleeping too much, sleeping too little. We will go through all that under the umbrella of self-care. So when we look at coping strategies, they're only effective and healthy if the client thinks they're effective and healthy, right? They might need some education around that, but some things might not jive with a client. Asking a client to go for a 5-mile walk might not be part of their idea of healthy coping strategies. Another client might be a marathon runner, so it might be okay to suggest a 10-mile run on a Saturday. So you will learn to customize the work that you're doing around your particular clients. You and I will also go through whatever coping strategy I offer to a client. I have done it myself, or I've done research on it. So one of the things I love the most in terms of self-care is using journaling. We will go through that together in our 8 weeks. I will provide you with templates that you can share with your client. We will look at relationship issues, how to increase communication. And once you have gotten a handle on how to help your client, guess what? We're going to look at working on you. What are some of your mindset issues? What are your roadblocks? We will go through that. You will become confident, capable, and be willing and excited to take on this new exciting opportunity in your life, becoming your own boss. And we will look at marketing. We will look at liability. We will look at how do you get clients? How do you promote yourself? Thanks so much for listening.
Oops, sorry about that. Next one is Esther.
Hi, and today I'm going to talk more about my 8-week insider guide to starting your healthcare recruitment business. This guide is the first part of a 3-step course. It is designed to prevent overwhelm and early burnout for nurses who are new to the business world. It has 8 modules, and they are becoming a business owner. In this module, we will talk about your personal goals and business goals. We will also come up with your personal plan and business plan. We will also talk about having a business mind versus an employee mindset. The next module is leveraging your skills. We will do a SWOT analysis where we will utilize your strengths. We will improve on your weaknesses. We will identify opportunities, and we will identify the threats and find ways of overcoming these threats. We will also look at what skills you can outsource. The next module is setting up your business. And in this module, we will talk about legalizing your business, registering your business, insuring your business. We'll also talk about the policies and procedures needed in your business. We'll also talk about the finance needed in your business, that is the salaries, the costs, and also the pricing. The next module is building and maintaining your team. In this module, we talk about all things human resources, that is recruitment, hiring, staff performance management. We also talk about staff satisfaction surveys. We also talk about training needed in your business. The next module is your customer. This module is probably the most interesting. Your customer is the bloodline of a business. If you do not have a paying customer, then you do not have a business. In this module, we talk about all things customer care. That is from your messaging. We will talk about building and maintaining a profitable relationship with your customer. We also talk about customer surveys. We also talk about talking about your business, but without selling it. The next module is marketing. In this module, we will focus on market research. We will focus on how to market your business, where to market it, when to market. We will also focus on your messaging as well. That is pitching your business. We will also talk about business networking. The next module is systemizing your business. We will come up with workflow processes that will help with the smooth running of your business and also growing your business. The guide also has weekly activities. And in these activities, the first activity actually will help you with registering your business so that by the end of 8 weeks, you will have a registered business or you'll be close to having one. There is also a weekly live empowering coaching call where you'll be able to address any concerns, get any clarity, get empowerment. The call, you also get to know what other students are up to. The last module is the bonus training, the bonus module, and it has 3 trainings in it. The first training is time management, where we talk about ways of managing your time, saving your time, creating your time, and we'll also create a management plan for yourself. The other training is ways of saving money in your business, because when you're starting a business and you don't have a client, you need to be saving money and not wasting it. The final training is coming up with a 12-month simple business growth plan. This plan will help you with ongoing planning for your business into the following year. Thank you.
Okay, and the last one in this group is Eileen.
If you had a choice, I bet you would choose to achieve calm in the middle of the chaos. Eliminate or lessen that grip on overwhelm and anxiety, and have more fun and find a balance in your life. Am I right? Why do we find it so difficult to achieve those things? Well, the reality is we haven't been taught how. That is the simple reason. So I am here today to share with you some good news.
Katie, can you move that window? It's
Sorry.
just, I don't know why it's distracting. Sorry.
Overwhelm and anxiety. And it teaches the keys to unlock your potential so you can live a successful, aligned life. Through my framework, which includes mindset brain science, body IQ method, and identity, this holistic approach integrates the mind, the body, and the identity, which allows you to create a life you love, which is extremely important to your physical and mental well-being. This will help you cope better with the stress and overwhelm, get clarity on what is working and what is not working, and expand your overall bandwidth so you can reach your potential. So let me expand on 3 areas of the framework. But before I do that, I'd like to say I truly believe that you are all intelligent, capable women. And there are times when you just struggle to really eliminate that overwhelm and worry. You are not alone. I have worked with many women who've experienced those same feelings. So remember, we can't think ourselves out of anxiety and overwhelm, but we can learn to recognize where you are heading down the path of spinning out so you can reset and recover quickly. It is important to address the mindset, the body cues, and the identity for that reason. The 12-week program is divided into 3 sections. The first section is mindset. You will learn the brain science behind mindset and how to make permanent changes that truly transform. You will learn how to shift out of reactive mode and restore calm. A calm mind can tame the endless worry, and it also allows the brain to be more focused and energized. The mindset is our filter. We perceive everything through our filter. How you think, how you feel, how you act, especially in stressful situations when the stakes are really high. So what lens are you seeing yourself through? The second section, we will be focusing on the body IQ method. This will help you recognize when you are heading down the path of spinning out. Have you ever experienced a time where you've been nervous and your heart starts to pound almost out of your chest? Or you get a lump in your throat when you need to perform or answer a question that you're unsure of? Or maybe you get that pit in the stomach. Sometimes we all have gotten that, right? Or some muscle tension. We really get the muscle tensions around our back. Those are all big cues our body gives us when you are feeling anxious and stressed and nervous. But our body also gives us less noticeable cues that, if detected early, really do decrease the anxiety and stop the vicious cycle of overwhelm. If you're able to identify those subtle cues, you're able to pause in the moment, pivot, and be proactive instead of reactive. That allows you to be in control in the moment. Think how that would change the outcome of a stressful situation. It would lessen the grip, right, of the overwhelming anxiety. Think about that grip when we hold on, we have entire body tension. I assure you that if you are trained to notice those subtle cues, you can get control in the moment and start thinking and feeling and acting in a calm, confident way. The third section we will be covering is the identity. You will be able to get to know yourself and discover your personal strengths and your core values. They're so important in order to live in alignment. The world needs for us, for all to be confident, clear in who we are and how we impact the world. So are you ready to release your power and make the impact only you can make on the world? I hope you join me in my program. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
Sorry. It's my mouse. See, it's crazy. Stuff. All right. Where are you guys? There you are.
Okay.
Okay.
I go back to my first sheet. Okay, Katie, do you want to kind of go through at the order that we went through?
So we went through, first was Pam, talking about birth trauma. Marita talking about relationships. Well, I don't want to
Mental
taint this
wellness.
too much. Mental
Oh, yeah.
wellness.
Mental wellness.
Esther talking about recruitment, and Eileen talking about overwhelm and anxiety. So we can kind of I think talk about them as a whole, and then if we want to make some specific call outs on stuff that might work.
Okay. Kimball or Charlene, do you want to start? Oh, Kimball, you're muted.
Oh,
there you go.
Char, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. All right, let's see. I kind of wrote everyone down individually as I took notes. So I'm probably going to mention more of individual
Okay, go ahead.
If that's all right.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, first, I'm just going to go backwards since I have Eileen. I loved your presentation. I thought it was very well organized, the way that you talked about each step of the process, and you were not all over the place. You first talked about what problems were. You talked about, this is what I'm going to show you. This is how I can help. And you just went down a little systematic, like almost like an outline. And I think that does wonders for a pitch. So I absolutely love that. Esther, I love Esther's idea. I think she could be very successful. Again, I know I mentioned this yesterday, but just the speed of her presentation is a little difficult to follow. But again, I do love her idea. I feel like the presentation could have been just a tiny bit more organized, but I liked that I learned more about it than yesterday. I definitely had a very good understanding of what exactly her program was about. With Marita, I love her concept. However, I'm going to say it was all over the place. I felt like, because first of all, she started with a case study, and I was like, "Ooh, this is great," and then she never went back to this person who was, had to put their wedding on hold, because that was going to be the whole premises for, let me give you an example, and she presented the person for the case study and then never applied any of the contents back to that person. So I think maybe if, to do that, to refer back to the case study and then compartmentalize. For example, I wrote down, in our 8 weeks together, we will discuss bam, 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 bam. Instead of going, and then, that's what came to mind. And then I will provide you with bam, bam, bam. And you could, after the case study, say, if the person's name was, Melissa or something, this is what Melissa is coming to you with. These are the problems that she and others are facing right now. Then you, as the nurse that's going to help this person, this is what you're feeling and wondering. So if you come to me, this is what you're going to get. So I think if it was a little bit more organized, it would be easier to follow. And it would be, and she would have, be more likely for clients to purchase her program. So those are my thoughts. And then on Pam, I did get it. It was about birth trauma. For some reason yesterday, I completely missed that. And that could have been on me. I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was about nurse burnout in the labor and delivery unit is how I interpreted. So I did get the birth trauma. However, I got really lost in her presentation. Again, and it's things we mentioned yesterday about being, monotone. And for example, you could say, what did I write down? Let's see. Instead of saying you have forced procedures, arm yourself, you could say, and all of the forced procedures that you're going through, arm yourself, just kind of put a little bit more emphasis with the tone. I think that could definitely enhance her presentation. So, and then just a little bit more organization would be good too. So those were my thoughts.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for that feedback.
Sure.
And again, everybody, we talk about this a lot before we come to Pitchfest, that all the feedback that we provide from any of the four of us, it's always for our contestants. It's always taken in the perspective of, what can I learn? Because sometimes if you do a pitch for someone and they don't, join your program or sign on as a client, you kind of are left with, I wonder what happened. Like, I wonder what didn't work for them. And so this provides an opportunity just to hear some feedback of, so that you can have suggestions. It's always work in progress. So I just want to frame in mind for the audience so that they also know, like, man, you guys are harsh, or like, whatever we're giving feedback, or the contestants all know it's absolutely 100% for them, all said with love, so that they can improve their program in the pitch the next time that they offer that to a client. Kimball.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Charlie? Okay.
I was just going to add that I have actually, I myself have been through this process. And so I know what feedback was helpful to me. And it was a very long process in a city competition. And it was harsh, but I took into consideration and ended up winning. So it's, it's just nice to know, just take the feedback with open arms.
Yes, absolutely. Feedback is food for thought that you can take action on, right? All right, Kimball.
All right. I think overall, everyone did better. I learned more about each of their offers that they had. Everyone was very good with the details about what they were offering. They were very specific about 8-week program, or, one-on-one coaching, or community, or, what exactly they were offering. They were, which I think was fantastic, because you want to know what you're getting in some of these. I do feel like still the monotone with Pam. I think she needs to just put a little bit more energy into it, and I do think that it's nerves, probably. Okay. But if you're selling it online, you have to kind of try to put the nerves to the side, or practice so that those nerves will get better.
I agree.
I do think that Marita, I liked everyone even more today than I did yesterday, because I guess I learned more. Okay. Yeah. So that's really good. Esther needs to slow down just a little bit, just so that we can kind of understand. I think maybe with that accent, you have to slow down a little bit for someone who's not used to listening to your accent. So in order to, my brain is always like, especially with people I'm not used to listening to, I guess I'm still trying to process what they just said, and they've moved on to something else. Yeah. And so I'm playing catch up with that. So you just have to kind of be aware of that when you're talking to people. And I think Marita, I agree with Shar. She was a little bit all over, and I wish she would have come back to her case study in the beginning and tied it in a little bit better. But I can say that I did learn more from everyone this time, and that's a plus.
Yes, for sure. And that's the goal. I mean, 5 minutes, we listen to them for another 3 minutes. So we should know more about what it is that you were getting, right?
Absolutely.
Katie, do you have some thoughts, or you want me to hop in?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to say the same thing, that, it's actually much easier if you have 5 minutes. I think the 2-minute pitch is harder in a lot of ways. But I think they did very well. I didn't have a problem with Esther's speed. I thought she was perfectly I was fine with her speed. But that's just feedback. So, what affected one person didn't affect me. And so some of this feedback, you can get conflicting feedback, and just, Kimball says you're too fast. I say you're too slow. So, so you can't make everybody happy. So if there's room to, you feel like you're too fast, then, there's always room to slow it down a little bit. But
Right.
like I said, I was fine with it. With Marita, I would echo the case study. Like she really she started out really strong with the case study. Though I have to say that, when I think about Marita now, I'm thinking that she does like love relationships, because she started out with a story about weddings, and then she's talking about relationships and therapeutic communications. And,
Yeah.
I forgot that she's mental wellness, and I guess it all goes hand in hand. But now I think she's a relationship coach, and I'm not sure that's correct.
That's not correct.
Yeah, so maybe like tweaking some stuff, and I would definitely
Yeah.
come back and finish the case study, because the brain loves a story, and it wants an ending. It wants, some peace of mind that they got back together and they went on their honeymoon and lived happily ever after. Like, we want that happy ending. And knowing that maybe they went through this program and worked with one of Marita's nurses, or worked with Marita, and this is the happy outcome that they had. So, and then, Eileen, I thought she was great. I love the body cues. Like, I am interested. I want to know more about that. I think that's great. And I think Pam's idea, she did, having more time really helped her to articulate more about what she's doing. And so I think that was an excellent improvement over like the 2-minute, where she just needed more time, and we don't always get more time, so she definitely has to work on that 2-minute. But the 5-minute gave me a better breadth of what she's doing.
Yeah. I would say that the same for Pam, because I feel like, pretty much everybody missed that she was doing birth trauma yesterday. Like we heard buzzwords like burnout, which she was describing. L&D nurses might be burned out because of this, experiencing this, but we didn't connect because what we remembered was burnout. So the 5 minutes helped her, and it's a tricky topic. It's almost like it is like a somber kind of like, it's trauma we're talking about, right? And so it's a kind of a heavy issue. So that can be hard to pitch. It is hard to match, like the energy that you need, but at the same time, if you're too slow, and I felt hers was pretty slow, and it was that monotone. I think, again, that was mostly nerves, because she is super passionate about helping in this big issue that nobody talks about. So I would have liked to have seen her come in with that kind of angle of, I'm an experienced L&D nurse, and I want to tackle, it's time that we started tackling an issue that our nurses and patients, face. And I'll be honest, it's not an easy issue, but it's so important. And we really need to help support our nurses through it. And which is why I created this program, blah, 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 right? Like, you can do it, I think, in a way that doesn't like lessen the subject, right? So that would be my feedback for her. Marita, again, I agree with everybody. The case study, I was excited that she was starting out with a case study, because those stories really do pull you in. But I really would have liked to have seen a case study of her student. Like, I would have liked to seen a case study of a nurse who wants to go into business. She's tired of being at the bedside. It's just not aligning. She really wants to help in a holistic way. And I, she did that. She joined my program. Like, I would have walked people through a case study of what she learned and how she can serve in independent practice. Like, I think that could have been a more powerful, gave a really good picture of what you'll get in my program and what she can do. So essentially, I can take any nurse who is feeling like they're tired of sick care and wants to do, help in a different way, in a holistic way, through my program, right? And then Esther, I didn't have trouble with her speed, but I'm also, like Kimball said, I've been working with Esther for a while, for weeks. So I am accustomed to her speed. I think you do have to be aware of that. So that was a great feedback. Which she definitely gave us everything. You know exactly what you're going to get. And I think the nurses who are interested are going to be like, oh, good. She's going to talk about policies and procedures, and she's going to talk about salaries and pricing and marketing and, systemizing and a growth plan. I would have liked to see it more, instead of just like a rundown of what's in the module. maybe like a way to frame it again of go back to the buzzwords that we heard yesterday that really perked us up of you can do this without going into tons and tons of debt and, you know, without a franchise. And here is how, like, how kind of tying that back together, because that's the big draw factor to come work with Esther, is that she's showing you how to do it without doing the normal franchise, huge debt route. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, like maybe just frame that in the beginning and then say, and this is how we're going to do it. You know, we're going to talk about, instead of saying module 1, module 2, you can say, we're going to talk about, you know, all those burning questions you have, you know, salaries and how do you hire, how do you onboard, you know, setting up performance management. I've got templates for that, you know, like giving them a feel for what you're getting. But, you know, it's just so hard with nerves to not want to just kind of go through the list. But I think it'll be it just thinking about who you're talking to, and she's got a targeted audience. So like if she just knows, I know you're probably wondering, how in the heck do I, you know, do price salaries or whatever? Like, don't worry, we're going to cover that, like in a more kind of conversational thing. Eileen, I thought she did a great job. I loved that she again said, you know, a lot of the buzzwords that I think her audience are interested in about the calm, the confidence, expanding your bandwidth. Like, please, I need to expand my personal bandwidth as well. And, you know, how to recognize those early subtle signs. Because I think a lot of people, she did a great job giving an example of, you've probably felt the lump in your throat or the heartbeat racing, but you're missing the subtle signs that if you learn to identify those early on, you can actually, you know, like, what'd she say? Recognize, reset, and recover. So I definitely feel like she did a great job telling you what you're going to get and why, like why you want it, how identity, how your personal strengths and your core values help you live an aligned life. So I think she probably, it did, quite frankly, the best job talking about what you're going to get and why you want it.
All right, well, let's start the next batch. We got 4 more to go. And the first one up is going to be Jo Neal.
I'm Dr. Jo Neal Conley. I've been a registered nurse for 40 years. I am a bullying expert and a bullying magnet. When I was little, I have a different kind of a name. And so teachers would say, oh, Jo Neal, your parents must have wanted a boy. Cue the childhood trauma. I was bullied by my OR preceptor when she sent me out of the room for a retractor that she knew was out for repair. When I was a director of nursing, we had a toxic CEO. I gained 30 pounds and had 6 ulcers. Every time this happened, I prayed it would be the last time I was bullied, the last time I witnessed a bully, the last time I had to discipline a bully. But it wasn't. In my career as a staff nurse, as a nurse leader, as a leadership consultant and trainer, and college professor, bullying has continued to plague our profession. But each one of these situations has only made me more committed to my mission of helping nurses protect themselves from the negative consequences of bullying. After studying bullying for a lot of years, I found out what I and others already knew, and what you know too. Nursing has a dirty little secret. We're not particularly nice to each other. We call it incivility, we call it lateral violence, we call it horizontal violence, we call it disruptive behavior. I call it plain old bullying. In 2021, the Workplace Bullying Institute released statistics that identified that 19% of all workers in the United States have been bullied, and 60.3 million workers have been affected by bullying. So if we do the math, and there are 13 million healthcare workers times 19%, that means that 2.4 million healthcare workers are bullied every year. Many really smart people and programs believe that we should just stop the bullying. I have a very different approach. There will always be bullies. Zero tolerance hasn't worked. Anger management hasn't worked. Screaming back at them hasn't worked. Bullies have made you doubt yourself and diminish the care that you deliver. Arm Yourself with Bullying PPE is a 4-week online course. There will be a weekly Zoom teaching class, a private Facebook page where we will actually deconstruct and debrief bullying situations. Now, next time you work with your bully and you take some information into your manager and she looks at it and go, well, it's your word against their word, I'm going to teach you how to document that in such a way that your voice will be heard. There will be weekly challenges with prizes and a loving community to help you on your journey. All of this for $297. Okay, listen. You wear personal protective equipment when you're doing patient care to protect yourself from harmful organisms. You wear bullying PPE to protect yourself from the negative actions and consequences of the bully so that you are not infected with a negative and hopeless attitude. During the course, you're going to be introduced to the meanness matrix. You're going to learn the spectrum of bullying. You're going to learn how relevant the bully is in your life. And then you're going to figure out what strategy or technique, what bullying PPE you need to put on for that moment. These techniques and strategies will help you regain your passion and joy for nursing. No more will you let the bully decrease your self-esteem. No more will you let the bully damage the nursing profession that you love. No more will you let the bully degrade the patient care that you deliver. Arming yourself with bullying PPE will empower you to make a difference in the lives of so many people. Class starts April 8th. Go to nursebullying.com and enroll. You owe it to yourself and you owe it to your patients to be armed with bullying PPE. And I will see you in class.
Ah, my mouth. Okay. Next up is Jenny.
So you got the call, the one that, yes, you have breast cancer. You're probably angry, scared, shocked, overwhelmed, unsure of what to do next or who to turn to. Do you cry? Do you scream? How do you even begin to make sense of it? Where do you even go to get more information? How do you begin to face this? Even more, face it calmly and with any type of clarity. My name is Jenny, and I'm an oncology nurse who has experience working with breast cancer patients just like you. I help my clients deal with all of that initial, what just hit me type of questions that they have. I will help you sift through and sort out information. I help you to understand your pathology from the markers that they're looking at on those reports so that that makes sense, how they treat breast cancer in general, and the multiple things that they use and treatments that they use, like surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and hormonal therapy. But I'm going to do this slowly. I want you to really understand what's happening. I also want you to understand that everyone's journey is different. It's so important that everyone has a personal oncology nurse who can be with them on their journey. Someone who can speak with you while you're in the comfort of your own home, when most of your questions are going to come up, because we all know that there's something that we forget to ask when we're in that doctor's office. So you need someone that can truly understand your concerns and your fears, because I too was a cancer patient. I was also the daughter who lost her mom. I was also the family member. I was also a friend to many patients. Now I take my personal experiences along with my clinical oncology background so that I can help other breast cancer patients along their journey. I offer 3 different levels of service to offer you help along your journey. I can be your ally, which offers you help on an individual basis when it's needed, either for side effect management or to virtually attend an appointment or to answer questions and clarify that confusing information and provide you support along the way. I can be a companion to you, and you can purchase 4 individual hour-long appointments for sessions with me that you can use either weekly or as you feel most needed to use them along the way. Or you can purchase a full partner experience, which combines the weekly call with me along with videos. Then it's an online community support, and you'll have support from others who are going through a very similar experience to yours. And you can have questions answered on a regular basis by me. The partner experience addresses questions like getting through the initial shock, how to understand that information, things that are printable, like question sheets that you can bring to your appointments with you. I teach ways to control what you can, where you can, like sleep, the importance of movement and hydration. You also get tips from a registered dietitian. You get a printable sheet on easy suggestions of ways that you can ask your family or your friends for help. You'll get ways to manage the emotional roller coaster, tips that are simple to use and really do work. And then for the 4th week of the program, there's 2 different alternatives. One for our patients that are going into survivorship, and one for those of you who are going to be living with advanced disease. I knew all too well what that's like, as my mother passed when I was only 12 from metastatic breast cancer. Helping breast cancer patients is really personal for me, as you can see. It's been something that I've wanted to do my entire life. I'm very passionate about my clients feeling confident as they face their journey, and it would truly be my pleasure to assist you, your family member, or your friend during this challenging time.
All right, next up is Sarah.
Hi, I help healthcare organizations develop impactful nurse leaders so they slash nursing turnover rates and create high-performing teams that achieve exceptional outcomes. I'm Sarah Bell, and I know nurses have what it takes to be great leaders. In my 20+ years as a nurse leader, educator, and coach, I've seen many nurse leaders become very successful in their role, and I've witnessed others who find the position too stressful and overwhelming. The difference between the two is the successful nurse leader knows what it takes to be a leader. They develop trusting relationships with their team so they can feel confident in delegating patient care to others, so they can focus on the greater goal of achieving great clinical and business outcomes. I know if a nurse has the desire to be a leader and has a proven track record of providing exceptional patient care, they have what it takes to be a successful leader. There are 7 key things they need to learn, all of which are covered in my program, Fast Track to Impactful Nurse Leaders, from rookie to rockstar nurse managers. In this 14-week coaching program, nurse managers will receive bite-sized training videos, weekly group coaching with follow-up activities, and each participant will get 2 45-minute private coaching sessions with me. The first thing they'll learn is what a leader is. What is the purpose of a leader, and what characteristics and attributes do great leaders embrace? I'll help them reveal their unique leadership gifts and talents so they can become natural, authentic leaders. The second thing they'll learn is how their success will be measured as a leader. As a nurse, they were probably measuring their success by the amount of work they got done. And of course, as a leader, success is measured by the contribution the team makes to the organization's key performance indicators. They will identify what these are for their specific roles so they can become familiar with the processes they need their teams to embrace. Next, they get to know their team. They'll discover the strengths and opportunities for each individual so they can work on the growth and development of their team as a whole. Now, many new leaders feel very alone. They think now they're a leader, they need to be the expert in everything. So they don't like asking for help because they're afraid that they'll look incompetent. So I'll help them embrace their vulnerability so they can start collaborating with the true experts, such as quality managers and educators. Learning these 5 things provides the rookie nurse manager with a foundation on which to build success. The next step is to develop strong leadership habits that will keep them focused on the greater goal of developing their team and meeting business outcomes. Now they'll be ready to establish clear expectations and boundaries. Not doing this is one of the biggest causes of overwhelm for nurse leaders, and it can be the difference between success and failure as a leader. Everything I've mentioned so far is about setting a strong leadership foundation for the new nurse manager. The final step is to teach the rookie managers how to shift themselves and others out of distracting everyday workplace drama and focused on what matters most: efficient and effective patient care. Nurse managers who complete this program will embrace their nurse manager role. They'll succeed with their key performance indicators and develop a high-performing team that provides exceptional patient care. So if you're ready to slash your nursing turnover rates and start your managers on the fast track to impactful leadership, click the link below and schedule an appointment with me. Oh, and by the way, if you are a nurse manager and you would like to participate, I'd love for you to join my wait list. So click the link below and sign up. Thank you.
All right, and now we have Nina.
How would you like to reduce or eliminate your reliance on agency staff and be fully staffed with permanent local staff? I just recently spoke with a small rural nursing facility who's operating fully staffed by agency staff with 6 nurses and 5 aides. The current bill rate for a 13-week RN assignment costs a long-term care facility up to $50,000, averaging out at about $125,000 a year per nurse. So instead of continuing to lose revenue to staffing agencies, you can save up to $500,000 in 6 months with my Stabilize Your Staffing SOS program for nursing facilities, while improving your survey outcomes and quality measures. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid released a report in January disclosing facilities that had immediate jeopardies and fines during COVID. They were careful to point out those facilities had low staffing that contributed to over half of them having those negative survey outcomes. And while COVID has certainly contributed to the struggle to maintain adequate staffing levels, many skilled nursing facilities operated in a staffing crisis as their baseline prior to the pandemic. As a successful long-term care organization, you've seen the effects of critical staffing on your facilities and their leaders. Increased deficiencies, state reportables, leadership turnover, civil money penalties, and lost revenue, not to mention decreased census, patient satisfaction, and quality measures, all related to low staffing levels. I'm Nina Hart, and as a nurse leader who's spent over a decade in long-term care management and as a former director of nursing myself, until I reached the corporate multi-site operation level, I didn't understand how labor costs impact the health of the entire organization. It's something as clinicians we're often not trained on. My SOS program teaches long-term care clinical directors how to take control of their staffing and take ownership of their facilities' clinical staffing operations. Most of the DONs that I speak with are overwhelmed by constant staffing issues and exhausted from being pulled to the floor. They spend hours finding coverage for the floor and just trying to get the patients taken care of, leaving survey prep as an afterthought. The results of constantly patching staffing holes are negative patient and survey outcomes. My 90-day SOS program empowers your directors to be able to quickly stabilize critical facility staffing levels. This 13-week consulting package provides tools to assess the current staffing needs, eliminate reliance on agency, address issues within the current team to maximize operational efficiency, and become laser focused on getting fully staffed and staying that way. They'll receive 8 power hours of training and support targeted toward creating staffing systems that work for the facility and the organization, as well as tools and resources to support successful implementation. Stabilize Our Staffing SOS program can help your organization see increased profit margins and the ability to capture back your revenue, improve survey and clinical outcomes, along with an improved facility reputation in the community. Decreased turnover and consistent staff have been shown to reduce medication errors, falls with injury, weight loss, infection, and wounds, among many other undesired complications and negative outcomes for patients. This program will help your facility clinical leaders identify staffing areas that require immediate attention, put an action plan in place, and execute it. The structure of the program provides support to address barriers and creates built-in accountability by providing reporting on the facility's progress towards the desired outcomes. So if you'd like to learn about how SOS can help your facilities become self-reliant with their staffing, gain back control over your revenue and corporate resources, reach out today and stabilize your staffing with SOS.
All right.
Okay.
There we go. So we have, we started out with Jenny. No, we started out with
Jonil.
Jenny, Sarah, Nina.
Yes. Kimball, you want to start this round?
I'll mute it. Yes, I'll be happy to. Okay, so I love Jonil. I love her energy. I love that she really went into detail about her program. I absolutely think it's a big area that's very much so needed. Bullying has been a problem in nursing for a lot of years, and we just kind of turn our head to it and nothing's ever done. So I think this is a very good program. I would definitely be interested in it. I thought she was trustworthy. I thought that last night, I felt like she gave us all of her credentials, and that was maybe a bit much. But today she told us, like, when I was the director of nursing and when I was a nurse, and I love that so much better. I love that from her, because I felt like I could relate to her better that way. Okay. But she was very credible. Everything was great. She did fantastic. And she did tell us how to sign up or contact her or get into her program. So I really like that part about it too. Jenny, I thought was very good. She was knowledgeable. I would want her on my journey if I was on that path and needed a navigator. I felt like she gave us so much more than last night. Of course, it's 5 minutes, so it's going to be more information, of course. But I don't know. I just felt like she told us a lot more about what she would actually do with us, I guess, and that was great to hear. And I felt her compassion, and I was able to relate to her better because she's been in these shoes and she's had family to go through the same thing. So she was more relatable for me. Let's see, but I don't remember hearing how to sign up for her program if I needed to at the end. Maybe I missed that somehow. But I don't remember hearing that part. So I wish she would have told me to, sign up through here or contact her there or somehow. Otherwise, I liked her great. Sarah was very energetic. I love Sarah as well. I love her program. I think it's just as needed as the others. Training a manager is a big deal. And I love the details she gave about what she would do exactly. Like, you're going to be able to do this, you're going to be able to do this and that. She was very specific about it. And I really like that, because if I was wanting to sign up for her program, I would want to know, what am I really going to get out of this? Training a manager is a huge umbrella. So what am I going to really get out of this? It's only so much you're going to cover in a 14-week span. And, that was really important for me to hear. So I I think that was great. And she did tell us how to contact her or get in touch with her to sign up. So I really appreciated that. And Nina, I liked her idea as well. I love the statistics she gave and how, with the numbers and how things could change and how what the numbers are saying right now compared to what they could be, and how, her plan would make my staffing better. you know, how she could get me from a horrible staffing situation to a much better one. So I enjoyed her. I would have loved to see a little bit more enthusiasm from her, but I think it was better than it was yesterday. So that was improvement. But I think her knowledge was fantastic. Fantastic. Her knowledge, her plan, the way she's put it together, the way it was organized and given to us, I think it was great. So I think they all did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Charlene.
Yes. Kimball, I agree with just about everything you said. I actually had written down about the same as you. I do think there's I think everyone did a fantabulous job of listing out exactly what they're going to get in the program. I think I loved it. I mean, you do come away as the consumer as I know what I'm paying for. And that stood out to me in all of these presentations. I felt like they're very thorough, definitely geared toward the consumer. That's going to, they're going to pull the consumer in with that. Let's see. Actually, everything I have is pretty much exactly what Kimball said. So I don't have anything else, but they were great.
Yep. All right. So, I would say that, I'm ready to refer Sarah out to my university because we need her help. and Nina too. Like, I don't know. I know a lot. Our hospital system actually does have pretty good staffing, but there's a gazillion places that don't. And if I ran into somebody, I would definitely refer her as well. I love the enthusiasm with Jo Neal and the statistics I think that she gave and the stories that she gave were engaging, and they kept interest for the whole time. And Jo Neal does this interesting pattern interrupt, and I don't know if you noticed, but she kind of moves into the camera and back and into the camera and back, and it keeps you like entertained. And it's a small thing, but it's like, it keeps your interest. And she does that very well. I've noticed that I don't know if she's doing it on purpose, but she does it well. Okay. But just for the listeners, it's called a pattern interrupt, and it's very effective when you're on camera. Instead of just being a talking head, you can have these movements that will shake things up a little bit. And then Jenny, I feel like the first part of her pitch was a repeat of the 2-minute, and I actually thought I had loaded the wrong video because it sounded like the 2-minute pitch, but I really love this idea. It's powerful. It's very needed. I definitely want to see her move forward with this and launch it to the world because it's going to help a lot of women.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, everybody in this group, I'm already making the list of who I need to refer to, it's that's what I felt like with each one. I believed every single one of them. I feel like they're experts. They are ready to go. Jo Neal had great energy. I do love how she's an excellent speaker. She clearly knows those tricks and tricks, but it's a lot of practice. There is an art to pitching. There's an art to speaking. Being a public speaker and doing those pattern interrupt things are part of that. I also liked her no more of this, no more of this, no more of this. She just told, I like the idea of this is such a pervasive problem, and she's coming at it from a completely different angle and says, we've tried this, this, and this, and none of it's working. So now we need to you need to protect yourself, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I really liked her call to action, all of it. Jenny, I felt the same way that Katie was. At first, I was ready to text you going, you loaded the wrong one, because it felt like a repeat to me in the beginning. And then she kind of went, then she went into much more detail. So that was really the only miss. It's very emotional. You can tell how passionate that Jenny is about doing this work. I mean, she's so likable and personable, and her heart comes across, I think, in what she's doing. And you did get an idea of there's different ways to work with her. So all of these are clearly needed. But that's really my only tip is that the beginning part was a repeat from yesterday. Sarah had great energy again. She came right out of the gate, said, this is what you're focusing on: decreased turnover, high performing teams, and achieving, exceptional outcomes. And I was like, okay, that's like every manager, like that's what they're held to the fire for, right? So you immediately want to tell me what I need. 7 key things. What are they? Like, I'm writing them down. Sarah, tell me what they are. So I just thought she did a great job, giving you, again, more of the why. It wasn't like, you don't need the Excel sheet. You need to know how to, how to develop your team so you get the outcomes that you want. And managing the everyday drama, like for real, Kimball, like as a manager, I mean,
every day.
She hit, I think, like all these pain points that not just new managers, and she threw that in. Great job throwing that in at the end as well. It's like, I'm a rookie to rock star, but if you're an existing manager, get on my wait list and I'll help you too. Like, great. I mean, she just did a great job. And Nina also, I think you were right. To me, where she really hit it out of the park is talking about the insane amount of money that she can save an organization, $500,000 in 6 months. Like, it's crazy just by stabilizing staffing. And then again, spoke to all their pain points of, here's all the things that you're trying to, hit out of the park and do really well. And it's all related to your staffing. If you I can show you, and it's like the lever. I think it's, it's like the lever. She is showing that her program is the lever to actually not just like help these poor, overwhelmed, exhausted directors of nursing, but, the everyday headaches, and stop patching the problem. Everybody, like when she uses the word patch, I'm like, everybody recognizes this is not going to work. Like, this doesn't work. Right. So I thought she did a great job talking about how her program not only is going to save you $500,000 in 6 months, but also deal with all those deficiencies and census and turnover and all those things. I just thought she did a really great job of putting that whole package together for the C-suite who she's pitching.
Awesome. Okay, so there we have our 8 contestants, our 5-minute pitches each, and the feedback from the judges. So what we're going to do is convene for just a minute here, and already we have our list of our top 3 contestants, and we just need to talk amongst ourselves. We're going to text amongst ourselves, actually, and make sure that we're all on the same page with who the 3 finalists are, and then we will announce them in about 1 minute. So
pressure's on. 1 minute.
Yeah, pressure's on. So Jill, Kimball, and Charlene, text me your final contestants, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. And again, this is a hard choice. It's not a we talk about we talk about this a lot. We talked about this at the end of Pitchfest last year. Like, whoever goes on, whoever does become a finalist, it has no bearing on how, like, we're judging on the pitch. It doesn't mean that you don't have a great idea, that you don't, that you're not going to be successful. We've actually seen lots of students who weren't finalists the inaugural Pitchfest, and they are killing it. Like, they are killing it, and they were not even a finalist. So it's really, Pitchfest really is about how do you convey what it is that you do and how you can help, and do you do that in an interesting, engaging way? And that is an art. And so it does definitely take practice.
Right. And it's kind of like those reality shows, like, I don't know, I don't watch them, but like The Voice or American Idol, if that still exists.
Yeah.
That's the last one I remember. But anyway, it's not always the winner who wins, right? It's the contestants. They got this exposure, and a lot of the contestants that didn't win went on to be bigger than the person that did win.
Absolutely.
And that happens again and again. So again, I would echo what Jill's saying in that, we are judging pitch quality. We're not judging whether your business is going to be successful or not. Okay.
Right.
So I just want that to be clear, because everybody on this Pitchfest has
a killer idea.
A killer idea, right?
Killer idea.
So we want everybody to move forward with this idea, and whether you move on or you don't move on in Pitchfest, you move on in that business because it's a great idea. So just to be clear with that, and with that said, I do have the results here, and
the three finalists are
the three finalists who are going to come tomorrow, and the time is going to be 7 p.m. tomorrow. I'm making everybody hold on to the edge of their seats here, but we're going to hear these three contestants, and they're going to compete for the grand prize. So our three contestant winners are Joni O'Connelly, Nina Hart, and Sarah Bell. So congratulations.
All right, congratulations. Congratulations to the three of you moving on as finalists. And again, congratulations to all our contestants for hitting this milestone. You will never again have to do your first pitch ever. You've done it, right? And we know nurses who didn't put their offer out for the first time for months and months and sometimes even years. And all of you have slaughtered that already. You've pitched in front of a large audience and really and also got great feedback, we hope, that you can use to even, to take and kind of as food for thought and see if it resonates and continue to work and hone your message so that when you're pitching your clients, as you continue to pitch your clients, and as well as message in your, content strategy, I talk about that, that gets even better and more persuasive.
All right. And again, just to reemphasize again, this was not, who has the best business model. This was all about the quality of the pitch, and we all can work on our pitch. But it is something that's really, really, really important to get down. So take the feedback, know that your business idea is a great idea. We just need to work on the pitch a little bit more, and that's it. So keep pitching.
Keep pitching. Absolutely. It's always work in progress. All right, guys. Thank you, Charlene and Kimball, again today. And we will see everyone live tomorrow. It is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just like we did on our kickoff party. And we'll be back, the four of us, with our three finalists, and we'll get to know them a little bit better and why they are passionate about, doing what it is that they're working on.
And who wins the grand prize? Woo!
And who wins the grand prize? All right, thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.